discussion, a high-powered one, and then the Secretary to the Government of the Federation will do a synthesis of key recommendations from the panel sessions, and thereafter, Mr. President will speak to us and, by extension, to the nation. Please, our friends in the media, can you just establish and leave for now? And then we'll call you back at the time your presence is needed. Thank you. It will be taken by Dr. Chris Peacroft, and he will speak to us for 25 minutes. Dr. Peacroft, please. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, Excellency Vice President, duly observed, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this opportunity this afternoon to speak to you about an issue that I know is of critical concern to the government of Nigeria, as it is to many governments around the world, including my own, the government of the United Kingdom. My name is Chris Pycroft. I'm the Development Director with the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office based here in Abuja. And I feel both privileged and humbled to have this opportunity this afternoon to address such an august body of representatives as are gathered here today. This afternoon, I'm going to talk about policy coordination for effective government. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we mean by policy coordination and what, in particular, goes wrong to make policy coordination potentially one of the most difficult things to achieve.
This is the network service of the NTA. We now take our scheduled program, after which we return to this live broadcast.
My sister, Chika, alluded to this when she described, for instance, a breastfeeding policy that said we've always known in global health that breastfeeding is a development issue. And we want children to be well immunized and healthy and grow up. And, we want that. We've known for about 100 years globally how essential breastfeeding is. And yet, even after 100 years of knowing that knowledge, we're still struggling with looking for 6 months for the woman to be able to perform this. And oftentimes in the corporate setting or any other setting, we've positioned ourselves as a system that, we can't just let the woman be home. What is she doing? Just breastfeeding. But that just breastfeeding is essential to global health. So it's either if we are serious about a policy that is essential to global development, then we must be able to make room for it. And I know that if there were more women in the room, in most places, and this is not a global South problem, even in the global North, many women are given 3 months to breastfeed, and then we want the children to be breastfed for 6 months. So I'm wondering, where is she supposed to find 3 months from? And we're not doing anything about it. And yet we say we want it to be essential. And those in some only recently, less than 15 years ago, were we making it kind of mandatory for places to be able to provide creches for the woman to say, return back to work, but bring your children. And that's 15 years ago. It's a travesty that we've prioritized breastfeeding for 100 years. And for 75 years, we said nothing. Or even 85 years, we said nothing. And then 15 years ago, we were now, okay, maybe you can bring, let them.
It's still not available. It's still not available.
And it's still not available in many of the places, but we want children to be breastfed. So you see, it's the woman that is having to find her way around this. Maybe have a nanny or ask to work, pump her breast in the middle of the night till 4 a.m., have to get up at 6 a.m. The issue is not so much of how it affects the woman, and that's key, but it also affects the child.
And it does affect the family, actually.
And it affects the family and affects nation building.
There's a gap, and that's what we're trying to build today. You know, build that bridge to fill that gap, to ensure that we can cross over to development as fast as our men are doing, because together would work and do it better. Now, Chika, you have any thoughts on this?
Honestly, Dr. Dore and Peju, they basically addressed everything that I wanted to state. One thing that I'll address is not just to have and being a part of that process when they're making decisions. You can have a woman as a token woman there in the room and just have her just sit there and and then have her listen to what's going on in terms of developing policies, anything of that nature. But make sure that women are also being vocal, that their voices are being heard. That's essential, in order to address
a lot individually. And it's great to really contribute to nation building, to the health sector individually. But still, we need that movement together. We need to support each other. And when Women in Global Health Nigeria came on board, Pathfinder International saw the need to collaborate with them, considering the fact that we're all working towards the same goal to improve women's health, to ensure that the leadership that is there is really of parity, if I may say. So I think one of the major solutions is what we're trying to do now, to bring everyone together to talk with the same voice, to also identify the women that are doing so much, amplify their voices, elevate their leadership abilities, and also together work with the legislator to talk through policies that would help to ensure that women are on the table at all times.
The biggest things that we are working towards is just bringing other individuals, women like myself from the diaspora who, have always been passionate about, trying to develop and solve solutions in Nigeria, bringing them on board to this platform. And not just women, but also youth. We have to think about our young girls. They see, if they see women like us that are, very passionate, driven to change and shape Nigeria into a more positive, a bright country, then when they see they want to be like us. So that's something that we truthfully want to start pushing with this platform, is bringing on the youth.
Yeah, I think the points have been made. Peju, I'll quickly come over to Lagos, and Peju, can we hear from you?
Okay, so again, Chika is very right. It's important that we send the right signals to younger women. It's important that the women who are in leadership are amplified. It's important that growing up, so the fun fact is, growing up, I grew up and I saw you. I remember your name, Mojima Kojola on NTA. That's one of the things that I saw growing up. And so I saw how you could, how do you send signals? And it was even in that time, it wasn't a space that was easy for a woman to be in. So many of these things.
We're going to discuss women in the media.
It was extremely important for me to see women doing it. So I grew up very fearless. People say, oh, you're so fearless. And I didn't grow up it wasn't a mistake for me to be fearless. It was important that women who had come before me had signaled right and taught me how to fight for my space and fight for what I want. So our mission is to ensure that young women are, they want it enough and they're hungry enough, and then to make their own fight a little bit easier. And so that, to continue to build bridges and ladders for younger women to come in.
Thank you so very much. Final word from you.
I think my final words is that Nigeria at 60, we need to have 60% representation. So the numbers, say it for themselves.
All right.
Of women.
That's a good note to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kweju, that have been an influence in your life. And I think that's very germane. That's very important, that whatever position as a woman you hold, you must be able to build that bridge or bring that ladder where people also, you can hold hands and ride up to the very top. Now, a lot of issues have been raised here. Policy in terms of ensuring that it's there as law and is legal and is mandatory to ensure that we have women in leadership position, particularly in the health sector. We've also spoken to partnership, and I think partnership is important. Nobody does things in silos anymore, particularly with women and hopefully with men as well. We all need to come together and be able to speak to improvement of healthcare delivery service in Nigeria. I think COVID-19 actually was an eye-opener for areas where we need quick intervention for us all to be inclusive. Diseases, they say, don't have borders. Exactly. But I think that women bear the brunt when there's a poor health system exists. So as we build the bridge and hopefully on women in global health, should I say Nigeria, we just hope that this will translate into more women in leadership position. It will translate into more women in leadership position. But we won't sit on the fence and hope to get it. I'm using we now because after all, I'm a woman.
Exactly.
Right. So, but together, we will build a better Nigeria. And that way, the Nigeria of your dream will come to be. Thanks for watching.
Hello, it's a warm welcome to Sports Ray, reaching you live on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. And give George.
This is the network service of the NTA.
A compendium titled Plus 600 Diaspora Icons at 60 has been presented to the two chambers of Parliament. The Senate President, Senator Ahmed Lawan, and other principal officers of the Senate and the Speaker, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, and other principal officers of the House, by Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa, Chairman CEO of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, and other management staff in Abuja. Stay tuned for more details. If you miss this, you miss out. And as Nigeria marks her 61st independence anniversary, Nigerians in the diaspora have been speaking and sending their congratulatory messages. You have to watch some of these. It promises to be a bumper harvest. This is your favorite program, The Diaspora, and I am your regular anchor, Koinsola Adetunbi. Please stay tuned. The President of the Senate of the National Assembly, distinguished Senator Ahmed Lawan, has pledged to do everything possible to protect the well-being of Nigerians in the diaspora. He made this known during the official presentation of a compendium titled Plus 600 Diaspora Icons at 60 by Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa, Chairman CEO of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, and other management staff in Abuja. Enjoy the interaction.
The main reason why we came to see you, sir, is to officially present to you this publication that we call Plus 600 Diaspora Icons at 60. We just felt that as we mark 60 years as a nation, it was just like a random thing with particularly the younger team in the commission, that we always hear about the negatives. Now we have a commission. What do we do about the positives? And we thought we should document it. So I'm proud to tell you that if you go through this compendium, you'll be proud to be a Nigerian anywhere in the world. And we wanted to do 600 because the tallies were 60, but we had to add the plus because we just couldn't stop. This compendium, Your Excellency, sir, is, like I said, made up of over 600 excellent stories. I'm not just got normal people, you know, exceptional people that are Nigerians. It's a compendium that should be on your coffee table, and it's a compendium everyone should be proud of.
It's our duty as a nation to protect Nigerians wherever they are in this world. In fact, even when they are wrong, we are supposed to be there to give them that support if they have to face the legal battles that they might have found themselves in. We still have responsibility as a country to present some kind of support, but we have to work hard to ensure that those bad acts are not encouraged in any way to go and spoil the name of this country and in the process get themselves into some difficult situations. But we must leave no country in doubt that we stand for our citizens wherever they are. And in whatever condition or situation they are, we have to show that they are really Nigerians and their country is standing for them. So I believe that we have to work to ensure that we do that together as well. National Assembly through legislation could do a lot to empower the executive arm of government, especially agencies like yours, that need to be in constant touch with Nigerians outside the shores of Nigeria.
We've worked very hard. We're all on board with position that at some point, we'll have all Nigerians cast their vote, irrespective of where they are domiciled. But the position we've taken for now is that while we'll support that, a proper mechanism, a proper modality needs to be put in place. We thought the best way to get around this at this time is to liaise with INEC to come up with a proper framework for us to include in the exercise.
On behalf of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, we present to you a compendium of over 600 Nigerians that are not only excelling but shattering the glass ceilings all over the world.
And also, a similar presentation was made to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. Enjoy the presentation.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we're here to present to you our contribution to Nigeria's growth at 60. What we did was we just realized that, you know, it's all about bad stories, but we have too many good stories. It's just too numerous, and it's actually depressing that these stories are not told. If one Nigeria commits a crime, I'll give you 10,000 that are doing great things. So we decided to put together, we wanted to do 660, but we had to add the plus because we had way over 600. And I'm not talking of, I'm talking of excellent Nigerians. I'm talking of Nigerians who have, taken over whatever field they are into abroad. So we're able to come with this compilation plus 600 diaspora icons at 60. It's going to be a continuous project. As of today, we have maybe almost 100 names already for the next edition. So we just said we should officially present this to you and let you know that NITCOM will continue to ensure that the reason for the House establishing the commission will fulfill that, and we'll continue to ensure that we engage our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. We're talking about human capital development. We're talking about, if Nigerians are the best all over the world, then why are we the way we are? If the best doctors are Nigerians, 70% of black doctors in America are Nigerians. If our professors are the best all over the world, why is it not impacting our educational system? So this compendium, Mr. Speaker, is one that every Nigerian should be proud of, and it's one that everybody should have as a coffee table book, and it's one that we now officially want to present to you, Mr. Speaker, as we thank you for your support and all you've been doing for the commission. We created a data portal of Nigerians in the diaspora. We're looking at 17 million Nigerians abroad. In Sudan alone, we're about 5-6 million. We haven't even added those ones. The richest man in Sudan is a Nigerian. And we could go on and on about the success stories. And the good thing, Mr. Speaker, is the fact that they are now engaging. They are getting more involved. They are showing interest. The second, third generation of Nigerians are amazing. They are simply amazing. I met a guy in the UK, he's a billionaire, but guess what? He owns just a bicycle. He doesn't want a Rolls Royce. And he's saying, what can I do back home?
This is, just from look at without even going through it, this is exciting. This coffee table book, if you want to call it that, is actually very exciting. That you can actually, what it does is it encourages the Nigerians abroad, and it encourages those that are not there, that are not qualified to even do better and do more. In recent times, there have been new other names that have come up. There was John Dabiri, I believe, that Biden just as a special advisor on science and technology in America. In Florida, there was what's his name now? The new Surgeon General by the governor of what's his name? Ladapo, yes. Yeah. So I'm sure those appointments came after the book. Like you said, it's a continuous. It just underscores the fact that there's so many Nigerians, exactly what you said, out there, who are doing amazing things, and we must encourage them and we must celebrate them.
A compendium, diaspora icons, plus 600 diaspora icons at 60 to mark Nigeria at 60, which is a year-long celebration. And as we said, it's going to be a continuous project to continue to celebrate the best of Nigerians everywhere in the world. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well done.
The NITCOM boss was also at the headquarters of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, and was received by the Director General, Malam Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, and management in his office in Abuja. Enjoy.
NTA, is one large family, and whoever, walks through, NTA, we'll never forget NTA. The experience is magical, and some of us have known no other place but NTA. And for Abike, she spent the best years of her life in NTA. So she still remembers NTA. She's one of the ambassadors of NTA, and we respect her for that. And now talking about her role as chairman and chief executive of the Nigerians in the Diaspora Commission, it goes without saying that I don't think anybody has in the recent past done as much as she has done for Nigerians in the diaspora. Whatever is happening now to Nigerians in the diaspora is largely due to her efforts, right from her days as a member of the House of Representatives. She started championing the cause of Nigerians in the diaspora from her days in the National Assembly. And the formation of the commission, is largely due to her efforts. So we commend you for that. And that's why NTA is sparing no efforts to ensure that she succeeds, because she's done a lot. I don't think there's any Nigerian living today, and I start to be corrected, that has done so much for the cause of Nigerians in the diaspora as she has done. And from the establishment of the commission to date, we've seen the difference. We've seen the difference. Like I said, she started this thing from her days in the National Assembly. And it was those things she did in the National Assembly that made the government, to have a rethink and to also come to the conclusion that, yes, we need to have a commission to take care of Nigerians in the diaspora. And no other person was better, placed to head that commission than Honorable Abike Dabiri, because she did more than any other Nigerian to see to the commission, to the formation of that commission. So our appointment as the CEO is apt. And I congratulate you, and that I'll show you once again that we in NTA will be there with you.
Book that I'm going to say publicly today that you inspired us to do. I remember having a conversation with you, and the DJ actually sent me a video, as at the time Trump said something about Nigerians being putting us on some list. There was a video circulating, put up by Americans themselves, showcasing the best of Nigeria. And we didn't even have to say a word. They were saying, no, Nigeria should not be on that list. I have a friend, I have a brother, I have a relative, I have this and that. These are from Americans themselves. And DJ sent that video to me, and we were having a conversation. I said, listen, we need to document all these success stories. It can't be all negative all the time. The idea was, okay, let's do it as we turn 60. And we said 600, but we realized that we couldn't even stop at 600 because we have just too many success stories abroad. Amazing. And DGs, as we present to you this compendium, we really want to work more with you to showcase each and every one of these success stories, even if it's just a minute or two. It's amazing. No country in the world would have this kind of people everywhere in the world, except Nigeria, and I'm proud to say that. DG, thank you for your support, thank you for your inspiration, and thank you for promoting the best of Nigeria through the Nigerian Television Authority. So on behalf of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, it's our honor and privilege to present to you, sir, a compendium titled for 600 Diaspora Icons at 60. As you can see, the plus means it's going to be endless and a lot more coming up. Thank you very much for your support.
Not so fast. Look, I'm tired. I want to check out of this country for greener pastures.
Just calm down for a moment. Please sit down.
Do you have a job where you're going to? No, but someone is arranging,
Listen, Lincoln. Checking out of this country without proper planning means one thing. Unimaginable begin. I've been in the diaspora, but legitimately doing great things at home and abroad. As I've been saying, without the proper footing abroad, the risk is not worth it. Listen, Alinko, it's better to be home than be trapped abroad, or even end up in prison.
Now let's listen to some goodwill messages by some ladies and gentlemen in the diaspora as Nigeria clocks 61.
As a little girl in Nigeria, I grew up with so much hope and promise. I had dreams and aspirations. I wanted to contribute to making my country great. I had many role models and watched people make amazing things out of nothing. Both my parents were patriotic civil servants, but were often owed their salaries, which led to unimaginable challenges. But the one thing that has always stood out for me is the indomitable spirit of the people around me. To this, I owe the woman I've become today. As we celebrate the 61st independence anniversary of Nigeria, my heart bleeds as the country is not where it is supposed to be. As Africa's most populous country and the largest aggregation of Black people in the world, Nigeria is supposed to play a key role in upholding and elevating the dignity, integrity, success, and reputation of people of African descent worldwide who have been fractured by the consequences of slavery and colonialism. Nigeria should be the reassertion of their pride and the fact that greatness is our sovereign heritage. While it is easy to point fingers and blame others for the unfortunate predicament our dear country is in, it is imperative to think of what Adlai Stevenson II said, that patriotism is not a short frenzied outburst of emotion, but a tranquil and steady dedication of a lifetime. As Nigerians, we are all stakeholders in the redemption of the collective destiny of our country. The Messiah that we're looking for to save our nation is us. Yes, us, me, you, all of us. We have all played a role, maybe a little role, in the state of affairs of our country. We have indeed failed our nation. You may ask me how. You know, when we are complacent and apathetic, when we do not come out to vote, when we allow corrupt politicians to buy our conscience, when we take bribe, litter, run the red light, and stay silent, while a small group of people squander our resources and strip us of our pride, when we lay blame and refuse to take any blame, when we allow our differences to overcome the collective good.
At this moment of Nigerian Independence Day, I wish to celebrate Nigerians. I want to celebrate each and every of the ethnic groups in Nigeria, both small, big, and medium-sized in the ethnic groups. They are very important because we need to celebrate ourselves. I also want to celebrate the diasporans who are resilient in their locations all over the world and doing great things. So at this moment of this year, as we celebrate our 61st anniversary of Nigerian Independence Day, I want to give each and every one of us kudos for how far we have lived our lives as members of this association, this union, this country, Nigeria. I want to say that we should reflect on ourselves. How far or what have we done or what have not done to make Nigeria great? What have we done individually, even from our local and ethnic groups, as our professions, as our, anything that you do every day? How far can you be proud of it? That yes, you have contributed to the Nigerian survival. So at this moment of the year, I think we should still reflect on this and many more, so that we will rekindle hope in each and every one of us. We should rekindle hope to the extent that Nigeria will have the vigor and have the unity to move forward and be great.
To be here again, 11 years later, celebrating 61, is a big honor, a big thanks to Nigerians, to God, to our leaders that have kept us together. But to all of us, Nigerians in diaspora, back home, a big shout out, and we need to say thank you, God, for keeping us together and continue to keep us together.
My dear fellow Nigerians, we have to give thanks to God Almighty for allowing us to witness this auspicious day in the history of our country. On the occasion of the Independent Day of our dear country, I sincerely extend best wishes to all Nigerians wherever you will be. We are products of a country that is great and it's dynamic. We grew up with high hopes, and we still do have those high hopes. It is indeed true that our dear country has actually not found it easy as many other countries. We indeed have challenges, and many of them too, but there is no country that do not have challenges. It is the capacity of the people to strive, to withstand, to endure that makes a nation. In Nigeria, we are on course for that. In fact, we are blessed with a resilient population. I'm sure that many people are in a position to enumerate and elaborate on these challenges even better than me. It is the future and the promise that it holds that we should prepare for. While we celebrate our elders, the youth should also be seen as the custodians of the future. We should therefore hold forth and work and pray for the Nigeria of our dreams, united, prosperous, peaceful, and dynamic, where all our compatriots will arise. Although we are aware of our shortcomings, it is still a time to celebrate, reflect, and strategize for the nation of our dreams, in line with the sacrifices made by our forefathers. While I acknowledge the commitment, hard work, and the resilience of all Nigerians at home and abroad, I want to underscore that the Diaspora Committee are also not left behind in this drive for a better nation that we will all be very proud of.
Our diaspora of the moment is Ashley Plumpton. Ashley was born on 8th of May 1998 in East Midland region of England, Leicester. She was born to a half Nigerian father and English mother. Plumpton's mother is from England while her father is a half Nigerian. Plumpton had previously disclosed in an interview with the Nigerian media that her grandfather is originally from Lagos State in Nigeria. She represented the England junior team from the under-15 level down to the under-23 level before switching to the Nigerian national team. In July 2021, Plumpton was handed a call to join the Nigerian senior women's team, known as the Super Falcons. Before she was handed a call-up, Ashley Plumpton made it clear publicly that she was interested in playing for the Nigerian Super Falcons. She qualifies to play for Nigeria through her paternal grandfather. Ashley's presence in the national team came as a huge surprise to a lot of Nigerians, as many never thought that she had a Nigerian heritage or background. Congratulations, Ashley. We celebrate you as our diaspora of the moment.
Thank you for staying all through the program. We hope it's been worth your while. And in case you have anything to share with us, please do not hesitate to do so, as we expect feedback on our show. Remember, you can reach us on all our social media platforms. On Facebook at Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, on Instagram at NIDCOM_Gov, on our YouTube page at NIDCOM_Gov, and on our website at www.nidcom.gov.ng. You can also join us on DSTV at NTA Network on Friday at 10:30 a.m., on NTA International on Tuesday at 6 a.m. and 10:05 p.m., on NTA News 24 on Friday at 2:30 p.m., and on Sunday at 10:30 a.m. You can also join us on WAP TV on Thursdays at 9 a.m. and on WTV on Wednesdays and Sundays at 8 a.m. And you can join us on Ben TV London at 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. I remain your host, Koinsola Adetumbi. See you next time.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
State Polytechnic, Ubokolo, from the Department of Graphic Art. He's very passionate about his work and has made it a point of duty to add value to young and aspiring artists. He goes from school to teach different aspects of art expression.
This batik is being produced
The batik you see people wear, like the Yorubas and the Cameroonians wear most of the time, how they produce them. This is the processes on how they go about it. Like what you can see here are the materials. This is the one we melted. The reason why we melt this one is because there are some places you don't want a dye to absorb on the fabric. So you apply the wax on the fabric to make sure that the dye don't penetrate that place. That is the reason why we use the candle wax. As for the rest, they go together, but the candle wax stands alone. And for the brush you are seeing here, you can use the brush to use in making designs on the fabric. I'll spray the fabric and then we'll begin to apply the candle wax on the fabric. To dry for about 5 minutes, and then we'll prepare the dye stuff before we can dye it. Now this is the warm water that we're going to mix our dye chemicals in before dyeing. You don't have to allow the water to boil very well, because if it boils and it's very hot, when you dip this fabric in it, to melt the wax away. And then these are the dye stuff. We have two colors, one color, they are both green. So you pour everything in the water. Mix everything in the water. So the next thing you do now is to soak the fabric in the dye stuff that's already prepared. We are now soaking it. You can see the white area. That is the area of the candle wax. The candle did not allow the dye stuff to penetrate. So rinse it in this normal water. The reason why I'm going to rinse it is because of the caustic soda. If you don't rinse it, that caustic soda, if you use it and sew any cloth and then you put it on, when the sun becomes very high, you begin to itch your body. So that is the reason why I'm going to rinse it in this normal water.
Hello and welcome. It's time for another interesting package of
Everything Music.
Angelina, you dey cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver.
This is Talking Movies.
In times of old, the world was full of wonder.
Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority.
I'm Ayodeji Makinde. Contrary to insinuations in some quarters, the Nigerian economy is more diversified than the outside world thinks. Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, disclosed this while addressing participants at the mid-term Ministerial Performance Review Retreat in Abuja. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
Oil rents account for less than a tenth of GDP according to the World Bank. Manufacturing value added has been on the rise for the past decade. Small-scale Nigerian industry is supplying leather goods and textiles to all of West Africa and even further afield. Agriculture accounts for about 1/3 of employment and 1/4 of output, with considerable potential for greater productivity and value addition. And of course, there is Nigeria's vibrant services sector.
Addressing participants at the retreat virtually, the Director General of the World Trade Organization is delighted that Nollywood films on Netflix, fintech and e-commerce firms from Nigeria are not only attracting foreign capital, but also expanding across Africa. She, however, made a strong case for Nigeria to exploit all avenues for trade that will be opened up by the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement to build back better from COVID crisis, drive industrialization and socio-economic inclusion, as well as meet the fast-growing energy needs.
I'm convinced that Nigeria can and should be a manufacturing hub for the African Continental Free Trade Area. If companies here can produce for a population of 200 million people, they can do so for a unified market of 1.3 billion. One sector where this is particularly urgent is pharmaceutical and vaccine production, where it has become painfully clear that the continent needs to increase its own manufacturing capacity. Nigeria could become a hub for supplying vaccines, therapeutics, and diagnostics to the continent and the world. Manufacturing solar panels, producing goods based on the use of renewable energy should be an area Nigeria should plan to enter. The country must go green, not only for its large population, but also to take advantage of export prospects in Africa.
Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala congratulates Nigeria for making it easier and cheaper to start businesses, saying, however, that efforts must be sustained towards improving security and lowering transactions costs for foreign and domestic investments.
Nigeria has a huge opportunity to make trade in goods and services work for its development. People around the continent want to eat our food, dress like us, watch our movies, and listen and dance to our music. We need to make it easier for them to do so. Nigeria should be aiming to capture 25% or more of intra-African trade and to triple its share of world trade from 0.33% to 1% by 2030. Nigeria has what it takes to be an engine of investment, innovation, prosperity, and job creation, not just for itself, but for West Africa and for the continent as a whole.
She expressed the firm conviction that Nigerians can indeed build the Nigeria they want and that trade can help them get there. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
OPEC Secretary General Mohamed Sanusi Barkindo has described the 2021 African Refiners and Distributors Association Conference as the latest in OPEC's portfolio of high-level dialogues. The conference, with the theme Developing Africa's Downstream Energy Transition Plan, includes ongoing meetings with the European Union, China, India, Russia, and the US towards clearing contending perspectives on the energy transition. Lydia Sampson reports.
Determined to drive the energy transition conversation to factor in the peculiar nature of oil and gas in the entire energy mix, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, has been holding high-level engagements with global critical stakeholders. With 7 African oil-producing countries being members of the organization, the dialogue with the African Refiners and Distributors Association is seen as a logical next step for OPEC. Barkindo says he's hoping OPEC and Africa relations will further enhance through this new dialogue event for both sides to benefit thoroughly from the highly valuable exchange of outlooks and research.
The unpleasant reality is that the industry is still reeling from the devastating impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. during which investment declined by a massive 30% in 2020. This scenario of underinvestment, if it were to continue, could result in demand exceeding supply, creating heightened market volatility and an energy security risk to both producers and consumers.
The Secretary General says one cannot read a newspaper or watch the news without hearing about the impending energy transition and how countries and the energy industry might respond to this global challenge. Ironically, he said, the fervor surrounding this topic has been intensified further by the recent volatility brought on by the coronavirus pandemic, and discussions related to climate change and the energy transition has risen to the top of the energy industry agenda. These debates are expected to reach a fever pitch in less than 3 weeks as the UN Climate Change Conference COP26 kicks off on the 31st of October in Glasgow, Scotland. The Secretary General added that OPEC is working closely with its member countries to advocate for real change on these issues in the lead up to and during this very important conference. He lamented how recently the industry witnessed investors and environmental lobbyists and even some corporate bodies exerting increasing pressure on governments and oil-producing companies to adopt radical policies and initiatives that could, in the end, be more disruptive than productive for the global energy industry. He reiterates that such views are both risky and unrealistic. He said, well, OPEC fully supports the need to decrease emissions and bolster innovation and enhance efficiency. That cannot come out of the cost of draining industry investment. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Moving on to legislative matters, Senate has reversed its decision on the 2010 Electoral Act Amendment Bill passed in July this year. The legislators had passed it with amendments in Clause 52 that transmission of election results can only take place if the Nigerian Communications Commission assured of adequate and secured network coverage and the approval of the National Assembly. But now it has reversed its decision that voting at an election and transmission shall be in accordance with the procedure determined by the Electoral Commission, which implies that it's at the discretion of INEC to decide mode of voting and transmission of results. It's inserted electronic voting machine to replace any other device for conduct of election in Clause 43, subsection 1 and 3. It had adopted direct and indirect party primaries, but has now adopted direct primaries in Clause 87. Senate also confirmed the nomination of Justice Hussaini Baba Yusuf for appointment as the Chief Judge of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory. Meanwhile, the legislators have commenced debate on the Appropriation Bill 2022. In another development, the House of Representatives has considered and approved reports on bills seeking the establishment of development commissions for the southeast and southwest of Nigeria. At plenary Tuesday, the House at the Committee of the Whole considered and adopted reports to establish the commissions, which seek to have funds allocated from the Federation account, among other sources, for the purpose of addressing infrastructure development and ecological challenges in the two regions. Meanwhile, House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila has directed the clerk to write the Federal Capital Territory Administration to address the state of infrastructure at the National Assembly, as the House intends to commence debate Wednesday this week on the 2022 budget proposal. The lawmakers had expressed discomfort when the House resumed plenary Tuesday as the cooling system was down. Recently, concern has also been raised on the leak of water into the structure when it rains. Time now to join Hingino in our Lagos Network Center for reports trending from there. Hello, Hingino, it's over to you.
Thank you, Ayodeji. In her search for fresh voices and hands that can offer new direction in political leadership, Nigeria, acknowledging the need for her youth population to get involved, was bequeathed with the Not Too Young to Run Act by President Muhammadu Buhari. This is with the hope that youths move away from their stereotypes to being elective position seekers. In this report, Adeni Taiwo takes a look at how far the act has impacted the Nigerian youth in the political process.
The first step to getting more young people into political leadership is to get more young people into the political arena.
This is the mindset that informed the signing of the Not Too Young to Run bill into law by President Muhammadu Buhari in 2018. Designed to get youth seat at the table of political leadership and governance, the act addressed age limit and a few other conditions for political participation in favor of Nigerian youths. This move is in tune with history, as shown by the demography of Nigerian founding fathers who fought and won Nigeria's independence at a very young age. Now, despite making up 51% of registered voters for the 2019 general elections, youths only make up 13% of senatorial candidates, while 27.4% contested for seats in the House of Representatives.
Political parties in Nigeria should give the youth more prominent role in running the affairs of the parties beyond the position of youth leader. This would allow the youth to play a central role in decision-making process of the various political parties.
Not all oblivious to the structural and economic realities that sometimes stand in the way of young people getting actively involved in the often all-consuming business of politics. These are real challenges for which there are no easy solutions. However, even when money and time are abundant, they are only valuable to those willing to get in the arena.
As the society looks forward to vibrant and quality leadership from the youth, how can the environment support their political aspirations?
Our parliaments, local, state, and at the national level, must also inculcate the culture of internship and mentorship. In other clients, interns do come in to assist, and they garner experience in area of legislative drafting and research. They observe legislative proceedings. They get tutored in bill drafting.
The 2023 general elections is fast approaching. Opinion holders believe this is the time for the youth to get into the arena and take up the challenge. In Lagos, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
Turning to the judiciary now. Barely 3 months after the death of the Super TV Chief Executive Officer Usifo Ataga, 3 suspects implicated in the alleged murder have been arraigned before Justice Yetunde Adesanya of the Lagos High Court Tafawa Balewa Square.
At the resumed hearing, the prime suspect, Chidinma Ojukwu, alongside her sister, Chioma, and one Adebayo, pleaded not guilty to the charges brought before them. Chidinma and Adebayo were charged on 8 counts, bordering on murder, stealing, and forgery. Her sister, Chioma Egbuchu, was also charged for receiving late Ataga's iPhone 7 phone. Prosecution counsel Olayinka Adeyemi asked the court to give a date for the commencement of trial while remanding the first 2 defendants in custody. Counsel to the defendants did not object to the commencement of trial. Justice Adesanya, however, adjourned the case to 8th November 2021 for further hearing. In Lagos, Ruth Ario Samuel, NTA News.
We pause here for a break. Nationwide will be back with Ayodeji in Abuja shortly.
Government through NPHCDA commenced Phase 2 vaccination of all persons 18 years and above with safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines approved by WHO and certified by NAFDAC. Special arrangement has been made for staff, their dependents and retirees of ministries, departments and agencies of government, private corporate organizations, and non-governmental organizations. To benefit from this special arrangement, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng/corporate vaccination/ to obtain, fill, and submit the Google form. NPHCDA will contact you within 48 hours. Protect yourself, your family, and your workplace against COVID-19. COVID-19 vaccines are free, safe, and effective. For further inquiries, call 0700-220-1122 or send a mail to covid19.vaccination@nphcda.gov.ng. This message is from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
Midterm ministerial performance review and the milestone of Buhari administration is our focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week. Tuesday Live, incisive and educative on NTA at 10:30 p.m. Join us.
Admission forms into NTA Television College JOS 2021-2022 two-year National Innovation Diploma Program are on sale from 9th of August to 29th of October 2021. Candidates who wish to apply for admission must have 5 O-level credits in relevant subjects including English language and mathematics. The courses available for application include film and television production, broadcast journalism, and television engineering technology. The admission forms can be obtained at NTA Television College or any NTA station nationwide at the cost of 7,500 naira only. Payment for the form is through remitter platform only in favor of NTA Television College. For more inquiries, please call 0803 079 5335 or 0806 980 9807. Management Announcer.
Manchester City returned from the international break with a tricky tie against Burnley at the Etihad Stadium. Will they get their desired victory? Find out this Saturday when Manchester City take on Burnley on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 2:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral.
You're welcome back. Reports just reaching us indicates that kidnappers have stormed St. Albert's Institute of Philosophy, Kagoma, in Jama'a local government area of Kaduna State, kidnapping 3 people. Commander Sector 7, Operation Safe Haven, Colonel Michael Agi confirmed this to our correspondent in Kaduna. We'll bring you more details as events unfold. Niger State Police Command has paraded 12 suspects for their alleged involvement in various criminal activities, ranging from gun running, kidnapping to armed robbery in bandits-prone areas of the state. State Police Commissioner Monday Bala Krias, who paraded the suspects, says all suspects will be made to face the full wrath of the law. Musa Mikhail reports.
By the Niger State Police Command were 2 suspected gun runners who took to their heels when their vehicle was intercepted by the patrol team of the command. Exhibit recovered include 2 AK-47 rifles, 417 live ammunition of 7.2 calibers, and 150 RPG live ammunition. Among those apprehended and paraded is fabricator of locally made guns comprising of 6 double-barrel and 8 triple-barrel guns.
We were intercepted on our way to our destination and we were questioned on what we had in the vehicle. It was in the process that our driver drove off the vehicle and we were pursued. The authority is aware that we use such guns for vigilante work. Each rifle is sold for 16,000 naira and I am being given 1,000 naira for each gun.
2 other suspects were arrested for their alleged involvement in kidnapping, as well as 2 men who are currently in police net for supplying 10 jerrycans of 25-liter capacity of fuel to bandits. The command also paraded 3 suspected armed robbers caught in possession of a stolen Toyota Highlander.
Niger State Police Command, under my leadership, will continue to ensure safety and protection of life and property of Nigerians, while urging members of the public to also continue to support police and other security agencies by giving useful information about crime and criminality.
All suspects are to be prosecuted soon. In Mina, Musa Mikhail, NTA.
The Imo State government has set up a commission of inquiry to investigate the clash at Izombe in Oguta local government area of the state, which resulted in the death of 2 soldiers and 1 civilian. Governor Hope Uzodinma made this known to journalists in Government House, Owerri. Bright Ebuchu reports.
This briefing is coming after a closed-door meeting by officers of the Nigerian Army in Government House, Owerri, who were there to brief Governor Uzodinma on the recent clashes in Izombe, Oguta local government area of Imo State. Governor Hope Uzodinma, in his interaction with journalists on the incident, assures that the state government will spare no effort in bringing the perpetrators to book. He further appeals to the people to refrain from all forms of violence, as a commission of inquiry has been set up to carry out full investigation into the causes of the clash.
I have no doubt in my mind that we will go all out, no matter what it will cost us, to bring those bandits to book. Government detested the action of people taking laws into their hand. Banditry, violence, kidnapping, and all sorts of crime that have bedeviled this state since some of these people escaped from the prison. The good news is that one of those who escaped from the prisons were involved in this incident, and that was the man that was also killed by the soldiers.
He appeals to the people to continue to support government's effort at maintaining peace in the state. In Owerri, Bright Ibuchu, NTA News.
More Nigerians have continued to sue for peace in consolidating democratic gains. This was buttressed during a visit by a delegation of the NTA FRCN Von Christmas Carol to the Rochas Okorocha Foundation. Elizabeth Omori reports.
Building peaceful, united and prosperous nation was what the nation's founding fathers stood for. This, Rochas said, should be upheld as it called for a life of sacrifice, tolerance and commitment to building the nation.
To have peace, we must learn to make sacrifices. Every human being must learn to sacrifice for the peace of this nation, because government alone cannot solve the problem of Nigeria.
The leader of the delegation, Mr. Stephen Moses Opanachi, said the visit is a build-up to the 2021 NTA, FRCN and Von Carol of 9 lessons with the theme, Peace Be Still. The event is scheduled for the 5th of December this year. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Time now to go over to our Port Harcourt Network Center, where Diba Bari will be giving us the next set of reports on Nationwide. Hello, Diba Bari.
DG. October 11th every year reminds us of the need to protect the rights, safety and education of girls, a panacea to the development of the girl child. This is as the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, embarked on the sensitization of young girls to mark the International Day of the Girl Child. Ijomo Ogweke has the details.
Celebrated first in October 11, 2012, the International Day of the Girl Child focuses on recognizing the rights of the girl child and the unique challenges girls face around the world. FIDA Rivers State, led by the chairperson, Nenna Ibokwe, used the opportunity of the day to educate young girls on the importance of protecting themselves against rape, violence, and all forms of abuses.
Times are gone when the girl child is relegated to the background, when they are made to understand that their place is only in the kitchen. And we feel that we need to catch them young, to empower them with the right knowledge.
The day is also used to create awareness on the challenges of the adolescent girl child, identify their potentials and opening opportunities for them.
Wherever you find yourself with your sister, that is a girl child as a boy, you have a duty to help her to become what God wants her to be.
I learned that we should not allow people to be touching our body from our mouth to our lips, that if they want to touch us, then let us run to our parents.
As part of activities to mark the day, the women lawyers distributed sanitary towels and other gift items to young girls. The theme of this year's celebration is Digital Generation, Our Generation. In Port Harcourt, Ijomo Ogweke, NTA News.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has called for a review of the revenue sharing formula. The governor made the call when he played host to the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission at Government House, Port Harcourt. Ogedinkwe completes the report.
The current revenue sharing formula gives the federal government 52.68%, states and local government councils take
26.72%, 20.60%,
respectively. This formula, Governor Wike says, needs to be reviewed.
The same population we're using, the same enrollment figure. The only way that most of the problems of the state can be taken away is to reduce the percentage you are giving to federal government. They don't need it.
Chairman, Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, Elias Mbam, says one of the mandates of the commission is to review from time to time the revenue sharing formula to conform with changing realities.
So it became necessary that we should look at the review to ensure that each tier of government gets appropriate revenue commensurate with the responsibility attached to that tier of government.
He commended Governor Wike for his developmental strides and urged other states to emulate River State. In Port Harcourt, Oge Dinyekwe, NTA News.
And that does it from Port Harcourt. It's back to Ayodeji for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thanks, Dibabari in our Port Harcourt Network Center. Now let's go on to judiciary matters. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, says the judiciary should be more actively involved in the quest to institute a financially stable system in the country. He stated this at the opening of a national workshop for judicial officers on the role of the judiciary in building financial system stability for the country. Femi Okeowo has the details.
Part of the efforts to push for Nigeria's improved economy, reforms have been carried out in the banking and financial services sector of the country. This has resulted in the enactment of the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act, BOFIA 2020. But whenever there is any dispute in this sector, the judiciary is constitutionally empowered to resolve such disputes. So imagine if judicial officers are oblivious of the reforms going on. This is why the Central Bank of Nigeria, in conjunction with the National Judicial Institute and Juris Law Office, organized a training workshop for judicial officers.
If the judiciary must play its role in financial stability in Nigeria, cases of delay must be aggressively and frontally addressed.
BOFIA 2020 is expected to reinvigorate the banking sector as it will engender a sound and stable financial system.
Attendance, which was both physical and virtual, cut across the Federal High Court, Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court.
Judiciary is an indispensable partner in ensuring stability of financial system in the country.
We have a detailed calendar with the Office of the Chief Justice of the Federation to train judges regularly.
The training is expected to encourage quick dispensation of financial litigations in order to attract greater investments in the Nigerian economy. In Abuja, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
Stakeholders in the judiciary sector are calling for upward review of the proposed 120 billion naira allocation to the judiciary in the 2022 budget, describing it as a paltry sum for a strategic arm of government. Some legal practitioners made the call while reacting to 16.39 trillion naira appropriation bill presented by President Muhammadu Buhari to the National Assembly. Judiciary correspondent Vera Chenwoba has more.
The past 4 years, spanning 2018 to 2019 and 2020 to 2021, budgetary allocation to the judiciary has been consistent with 110 billion naira. However, the proposed allocation of 120 billion naira for 2022 for the sector, seen as an improvement in comparison to the previous years, however, did not meet the expectation of the stakeholders who opine that the allocation for the third arm of government is grossly inadequate for the sector's many challenges.
From 120 billion to 120 billion is a far cry. We need a holistic review of the salaries, allowances, so that they can earn a living wage comparable to what their peers earn elsewhere.
There is no reason why the budget should be less than 300 billion naira. Where the judicial system is not well funded, where the people have no confidence, you cannot get anything out of that system.
It will not encourage prompt justice delivery. If this small amount of money is being given to them, they have a lot to do.
Recently, President Court of Appeal Monica Dangbe-Monsen advocated a holistic review of the salaries of judges, which he said has not been reviewed in the past 10 years. In Abuja, Viera Chinwoba, NTA News.
Now, let's switch attention to our Makurdi Network Center, where Fatima is ready for the next set of reports on Nationwide. It's over to you, Fatima.
Hello and welcome to Makurdi. Governor Samuel Otom says pensioners are not neglected as 700 million naira is being expended monthly on pensions in the state. The governor also addressed other issues regarding nurses' welfare, road rehabilitation and politics. Charles Abba has the details.
Members of the National Union of Pensioners recently marched the streets of Makurdi protesting alleged non-payment of their 32 months of state and 74 months of local government pensions. In reaction, the Benue State Governor Samuel Otom explained that 700 million naira is doled out monthly to address pension matters, out of which 400 million goes for state government pensioners and 300 to those of local government.
For the past 6 months, we've been doing this. So I'm really taken aback why I heard that there was process after we explained and we agreed that this is what we do.
The governor, who also reacted to the protest by nurses of the schools of nursing and midwifery, Makurdi, for alleged non-payment of their allowances, said he needed to be briefed by the Commissioner for Health and Human Services.
Because the school of nursing is very dear to the state, and I'm surprised to hear that they were on protest. Instead of passing through the normal channel to air their grievances so that we can address it, nobody has brought that to my attention. Only heard about the protest. It is really unfortunate.
On township roads in Makurdi that are becoming dotted with potholes, the governor assured of urgent attention.
We can't do those rehabilitation now because of the water level. You know, Makurdi is a swampy area. And so for every year you have that kind of a thing. And we've been doing it, and I want to assure you that already as soon as the rains subside, we are going to do some level of rehabilitation around the town.
And on politics, he said, the People's Democratic Party is unanimous on swapping political positions between the North and South. The governor said he needed consultation with God and the people before concluding on which direction to take in contesting any elective positions. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
In a bid to ensure social cohesion and permanent peace among various ethnic and religious groups in Taraba State, the Catholic Diocese of Jalingo has organized the marathon race for peace in the Wukari town of the state. Bem Hanya reports that this was in response to various conflicts amongst communities which have for some time now threatened the peace and unity of residents of the state.
For some time now, Taraba State has been grappling with internal and boundary conflicts, leading to the loss of lives and property worth millions of naira. This has prompted governments at various levels, traditional rulers, religious leaders, and other stakeholders to take a number of measures to find a lasting solution to the menace. The latest effort in ensuring that conflicts in parts of Taraba is mitigated is that of the Catholic Diocese of Jalingo, which has organized the marathon race for peace in Wukari. The race, which had youths of diverse religious and ethnic backgrounds as participants, was conducted through major streets of Wukari town to the admiration of residents.
Want the people of Wukari to be as one.
Former Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Federal University Wukari, Reverend Father Anthony Bature, said development cannot take place in any society that is devoid of peace and harmony.
Peace means a feeling of comfort, and peace means freedom from war and terror. These three folds are enough to explain real peace.
From Wukari local government area of Taraba State, Bem Hanya, NTA News.
Nationwide continues in Abuja after this break.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
Manchester City returned from the international break with a tricky tie against Burnley at the Etihad Stadium. Will they get their desired victory? Find out this Saturday when Manchester City take on Burnley on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 2:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral.
Glad you're still there. Better primary health care, more efficient funding, and enhanced public-private partnership are some of the ways being suggested to reform the healthcare sector in the country. This was on Good Morning Nigeria while discussing health sector reforms. Ekemini Williams completes the story.
Health sector reform is a recurring subject in Nigeria, especially as public healthcare services could not live up to expectation of Nigerians. As part of efforts to change the narrative, President Muhammadu Buhari constituted a committee to reform the health sector for quality and better healthcare services. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria identified continued deficiencies in primary healthcare. The guests called for a shift from what they described as passive to active spending.
This is just Nigeria. The World Health Organization has approved vaccine for malaria. Are we ready? Can we produce it locally? Can we even have the technology to invite those who have licenses to come and have a brand and produce it locally to reduce the cost of transporting and other things? These are all issues. Look at this day, the COVID vaccine. How much does it take in terms of logistics for a cold chain to be maintained from the source to Nigeria and to the person where you are going to administer? That is enough to produce the vaccine if you have it in the country.
The public sector funding has so many branches, so many roles, so many this. So to even access a little bit of money, the paperwork is more expensive than the financial implications. So
they recommended the rejuvenation of the primary healthcare system.
But Kenya is doing something very, very important, which they launched just a couple of months ago. They established a relationship with the United Kingdom and said the excess health workers and other countries are doing, the Philippines and others, the excess health workers that we are not able to absorb now, maybe we'll be able to absorb them tomorrow. But can we enter into a relationship with you where you help us train them further and there's some economic benefit?
They emphasized the need to place premium on the health of Nigerians. In Abuja, Kemini Williams, NTA News.
Brain drain in the health sector and consistent strikes by Nigerian doctors are key issues the Health Sector Reform Committee, headed by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, need to address urgently. Speaking in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, President, Nigerian Medical Association, Professor Innocent Uja, maintained that the country should strengthen healthcare investments and financing. Clement Barikwi reports.
Isolation, financial difficulties, and several other challenges arising from the current social and economic situations have been proven to increase the cases of mental conditions or exacerbate existing ones. And while the demand for mental health services increases, a World Health Organization survey shows that the devastating impact of the lingering COVID-19 on access to mental health services underscores the urgent need for increased support and funding for mental health attention.
To make policies that could make mental health care, if possible, free. If not possible, then let it be affordable, let it be accessible, let it be at the geographical locations where people live and stay.
And while the campaigns for world leaders to decisively invest more in life-saving mental health programs continue, experts warn against possible triggers of mental illnesses.
There are also persons who have some personality problems, some personalities that predispose them to reacting to stress or negative life events in very funny ways.
They also prescribe ways to maintain good mental hygiene, saying it is fundamental to the overall health and well-being of any individual. Hence, the World Health Organization has continued to advocate special programs and advocacies to buy support and sue for a massive scale-up in investment to promote mental health, even in an unequal society.
Agatha is in our Benin Network Center with stories from there. Good evening, Agatha.
Good evening, Ayodeji. Thank you for joining us in Benin. The deplorable condition of Sapele Road in Benin City is affecting socio-economic activities on this corridor and impacting on travel time. Some activists and protests have blocked a section of the road, preventing movement of travelers. They say they will remain there until an intervention. Joy Ebo is at the scene and will fill us in.
Thank you, Agatha. This road serves as entry and exit points to travelers in the southeast and south-south zones, as well as for those coming into the ancient city of Benin from the two regions. Come with me as I seek answers from the activists on why they are occupying this all-important road.
Before now, we have seen contractors come to these sites and go. The road remains in a very dead and deplorable state. Several protests have been held, series of promises have been made, yet there is no singular solution to ameliorate the plight of Nigerians plying this road.
This road has been there for the past 2 years now, like this, uncared for. This is an eyesore, federal road for that matter.
I come from Delta State now. I no see road pass. No road to pass there. I need to trek from ROCC, cross down here to this place.
The road up here now is taking almost about 4 hours before we get to where we are going.
Efforts to reach the relevant agencies in charge of the road rehabilitation was not successful as at the time of filing this report. But more updates shall be provided subsequently. Agatha, back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Joy. In Delta State, the empowerment of the girl child to take her pride of place in the society through technological skills has been advanced by stakeholders. Wife of the governor, Dame Edith Okowa, led the girl child empowerment campaign to secondary school students across the state. Ngozi Imokwede reports.
These 13 students, drawn from various secondary schools in Delta State, are here in the Unity Hall at Saba to celebrate their day. For these ones, they are ready to learn more and develop their skills in technology However, the gender-digital divide is about more connectivity.
I've learned that the female child is powerful, even though we're constantly looked down on. And the more we grow, the more we realize that the female child is taking over our generation.
The program has impacted a lot of things in me, teaching me that I should never give up on my dreams.
The wife of Delta State Governor Dame Edith Okowa wants the girl child to continue to walk tall, self-confident, and be technology-driven.
In the times of my grandmothers and my mothers, girls were not seen nor heard. So your generation should be very lucky and don't take it for granted.
We can build a new generation of girls who will know their digital realities and the solutions they need to pave the path to freedom of expression, joy, and boundless potential.
Resource persons shared their expectations with the students on how to better their families and community. Ngozi Mokwede, NTA News.
That's our package. Ayodeji, you're on.
Thanks, Agatha, in our Benin Network Center. This is where we have to halt nationwide at the moment, as we have to join our outside broadcast crew for the closing ceremony of the 2021 Mid-Term Ministerial Performance Review Retreat. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. Good evening.
30% of Nigerians' foreign exchange is spent on petroleum products. When projects like the Dangote refinery comes on stream, and our own refineries are fixed, they will save and also generate foreign exchange, and we can have a much improved foreign exchange regime. 4, Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank is determined to pursue price stabilization that is good for economic growth. 5, there is need to pragmatically deal with the issues of oil subsidy and ensure that subsidy removal does not further suffocate the economy. 6, ensure effective implementation of the medium-term National Development Plan and work with states to domesticate the plan in their respective states. 7, pursue improvement in the revenue and revenue collection efficiency through better implementation of the strategic revenue growth initiatives. And 8, population census and housing survey have been provided for in the budget and to be effected by 2022. Panel 2, how do we move forward in agriculture and food security? The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development is working to develop a new policy for 2020 to 2025 to address, amongst others, the following: increase small-scale holders' capacity. 2, increase research and innovation. 3, reforms on farm inputs, which is critical for small-scale holders. And 4, improve agricultural financing and other inputs. The new agriculture policy will be out by December of 2021. 2, to facilitate policy execution and forestall the resistance of government interventions, there is need to engage stakeholders more in the policy development, especially regarding policies that will affect them. 3, to enhance food security and lower food prices, there is need to also focus on commercial and industrial farmers and not only focus on small holders. 4, commodity exchange will come on stream by the end of 2021 or first quarter of 2022 at the latest. 5, on agriculture and environment, there is need to align the natural adoption plans with the agricultural plans and policies. And 6, there is also need to accelerate the climate change bill. On priority number 3, How do we ensure sufficiency in power and petroleum products? On meeting the target of 3 million barrels per day by 2023, the ministry has strategized to increase production and also negotiate a suitable quota, OPEC quota, towards meeting this target by 2023. One of these is the successful conclusion of the marginal bid round and agreements on OML 11H and 25. There is also a need to implement adequately security measures to reduce theft and eventually maximize oil production. On the current status of the Siemens MOU, a special purpose vehicle has been formed and the memorandum of understanding has been signed. The environmental impact assessment and right-of-way studies are ongoing. Soon, the engineering, procurement, and construction will commence, and the targets of 7,000 megawatts phase 1 and 11,000 phase 2 and 25,000 megawatts phase 3 will follow. The third phase affects the entire power value chain of generation, transmission, and distribution. On overcoming constraints to power distribution, there is need to consider subsidizing electricity production, which will add to jobs, industries, etc. On timing the completion of refineries repairs to align with rehabilitation of the pipelines, storage depots, and jetties, this is being done. The various refineries under repairs will become functional from 18 months through to 48 months. On Dangote refinery, delays due to COVID-19-induced supply chain disruptions are being overcome, and the commissioning should be anytime within the period of 2022. Priority number 4, how do we improve transportation and other infrastructure? On upscaling public-private partnerships, the Bureau of Public Enterprises has collated 110 projects for consideration for PPPs. PPE is putting together an asset register for the country that is aimed at unlocking liquidity. The asset register will be ready by December 2021. On transportation, the ministry renewed efforts on passing the Nigerian Railway Corporation Bill that will eventually unbundle the Nigerian Railway Corporation and allow PPPs in operations of the railway. However, as of now, priority is on completing and operationalizing the ongoing railway projects. On airport concessioning, there is a master plan being followed. Concession advisors have now been appointed. Requests for qualifications have been issued, and airport operators all over have responded. The RFQs are currently under review. Requests for proposals will go out by 25th October 2021. And so by April of 2022, the airports would, if the process goes on smoothly, be delivered to concessionaires and private sector operators. In addition, a maintenance, repair, and overhaul facility and an aviation leasing company are also being planned. Full business case should be approved by FEC by December, and processes will commence. 3, on affordable housing. To facilitate home ownership, there are a number of innovative approaches to mortgages recommended during the panel sessions that the Honorable Minister of Works and Housing has promised to consider. On infrastructure financing and Infraco was approved by Mr. President earlier this year and will become operational before the end of the year. It will be a funding vehicle for infrastructure development. 5, agro-processing zones. The Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority has accepted to work with the African Development Bank on the construction of the agro-processing zones. The first 6 projects have been selected. Pilot states are FCT, Oyo, Ogun, Imo, Kaduna, and Kwara as pilot states, each processing different agricultural products. From first quarter 2022, that is next year, we will see the footprint. Priority number 6, how do we improve health, education, and productivity? Education must be seen as a holistic ecosystem to drive its maximum benefit. There is a need for regulations that are fair and equitable for the private school sector to participate in establishing schools and support the educational sector. The Ministry of Labor will conduct a national skills audit, labor market survey in 2022. A multi-sector conference on primary healthcare is being planned for November 2021 to advance the implementation of the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. Next steps. What I have just shared with you is a summary of recommendations from some of the panel discussions. My office will develop a detailed report on recommendations from all the sessions of this retreat, including the technical sessions, and share with cabinet members. We will support Mr. President and the cabinet to track all the commitments made in these sessions, keep them in our view, and report on our progress periodically. I wish to appreciate all our resource persons for a great job done and their selfless service to our beloved country. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, for giving us a synthesis of the key recommendations from the panel sessions. The amazing thing was that even the panels that just got concluded, their recommendations were there. It shows that while those panels were sitting, some people were working and working well. Thank you very much. Now it's time to bring this 2-day retreat to a fitting close. And how else can that close be fitting than to hear from the father of the nation, our president? My pleasure to invite President Muhammadu Buhari to please make his closing address. Mr. President.
Thank you. Please sit down. Your Excellency, the Vice President, the President of the Senate, Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Chairman, Governors Forum, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the Head of Service, Chief of Staff, Honorable Ministers, Senior Government Officials, resource persons, members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. After 2 days of intensive discussion, we have come to the end of a successful retreat where we reviewed progress on the implementation of the ministerial mandates along the 9 priority areas of this administration. The retreat provided an opportunity for us to undertake an objective assessment of our stewardship in line with the contract we signed with the Nigerian people to deliver on our electoral promises. We reflected on what we had done and identified the areas where we need to improve and refocus our attention during the remaining period of our administration. From the assessment report and discussions at this retreat, I am glad to note that progress has been made towards the achievement of our objectives. The independent performance assessment report presented on day 1 of the retreat indicates that significant progress has been achieved in the delivery of the ministerial mandates. Distinguished participants, the discussions at the retreat have prompted the need for us to ramp up implementation on the deliverables. We must close the gaps in our implementation efforts to ensure that we attain set targets by 2023. To achieve this, the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation is to immediately begin the process of convening quarterly coordination meetings for each priority area based on the collaborative results framework. This is with the aim to ascertain status of implementation across the 9 priority areas, identify bottlenecks, and prefer immediate solutions. All ministers and permanent secretaries must be in attendance. These are not meetings to delegate. The Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation is to immediately commence engagement with stakeholders to agree and push forward a framework for the institutionalization of the Central Delivery Coordinating Unit. All ministers and permanent secretaries are to promote a robust performance culture across the MDAs by setting up intra-ministerial delivery task teams. The head of service should, as a matter of urgency, invest in capacity strengthening of the planning, research, and statistic departments in all MDAs. This should be done in collaboration with the Central Delivery Coordinating Unit. Let me assure Nigerians that this administration will continue to implement fiscal measures to improve our domestic revenues and mobilize external funding support to build a more resilient economy. There must be synergy between the fiscal and monetary authorities to keep the economy on the trajectory of growth. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, issues around expanding access to quality education, affordable health care, and productivity of Nigerians will be given priority attention within the period of this administration. We will sustain all ongoing efforts in rebuilding our health system through targeted investment in the health sector, especially our vaccination drive to halt the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. This administration remains committed to providing the education and training required for employment and entrepreneurship, particularly using the technology to impact the relevant skills on our youth. Our social investment programs will be sustained in the coming years. We will continue to reach out to the poorest and most vulnerable households through the National Cash Transfer Program and other initiatives of government. The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management, and Social Development has been directed to come up with a legislative framework for social protection that also guarantees its funding stream. In view of the critical role of micro, small, and medium enterprises in economic growth and development, efforts will be geared towards removing all bottlenecks that militate against access to government support schemes by SMEs. Government will adopt a holistic approach to industrialization that is aligned with Nigeria's aspirations and requirements, working closely with key stakeholders in the private sector. We will continue to support SMEs in view of their multiplier effects on the economy. On the National Single Window Project, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning is directed to ensure all relevant MDAs involved in the implementation of the project complete all processes needed for effective takeoff of the National Single Window platform by the first quarter of 2022. In our determination to build systems to fight corruption and improve governance, this administration will continue to address the issues that foster corruption and impair transparency in the management of public resources. Efforts will be geared towards improving coordination and synergy between anti-corruption agencies. To improve on our infrastructure development, government will prioritize funding and ensure that all high-priority ongoing infrastructure projects are completed before the end of this administration. The Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund will continue to support the delivery of our legacy infrastructure projects across the country. Distinguished participants, I am confident that the lessons we have learned in the last 2 years of implementing our policies, programs, and projects will serve as the needed tool to propel every ministry to remain committed towards the achievement of our developmental objectives. I therefore charge all of you to step up, double your efforts, and work in synergy towards total delivery of our administration's set target. Finally, I would like to thank the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and his team for successfully organizing this retreat. I wish to also sincerely thank all the resource persons that have added immense value to this process. Well done and thank you all. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Anthem, please. National anthem, please.